All right, again, go to the starter. We are, what are we, January 20th? Right here, all right? Starter, that should not be 1 point. It should be valued at 5 points. Why won't it save? 5, update the question. There we go. Save. All right, there we go. All right, the code is IP thesis. IP thesis, like Israel-Palestine thesis. Now again, you are writing, I want to make sure this is clear. You are showing me your ability to write a proper thesis statement based on those documents before. You developed and you found all of the reasons for it based on the documents yesterday and the buckets and the chicken foot. And now you're going to take that and rewrite it right here. Again, write a proper thesis statement answering the following questions. What were the causes, following question, what were the causes of conflict between Israel and Palestine? Okay. Go ahead and write that in there now. Or you could go to your pages in your notebook and, copy and paste. That's not a bad, put it in there. All right, and then submit it. Do a new share my screen instead. I'll go ahead and do that right now, please. And I want to make sure you're answering that question, not my sample question about Michael Jordan being the best player. I don't want that. And you're not making up your own question. You are answering that question that is right there. Let's go to notebook 2. All right, you did your buckets, you did your chicken foot. You can use page 74 as help. You got my example here. Make sure you're not using, if you wrote your thesis statement, which you were supposed to write it right here at the bottom of 74. What were the causes of conflict between Israel and Palestine? You were supposed to write that right there yesterday. Okay, that's part of your work. And if I'm you and you know that that's a great thesis statement, copy it, paste, submit, you're done. That's it. Okay? I'm going to give y'all 2 minutes because that should have been done already. 2 minutes is probably too much. Remember, y'all, this is 5 formal points. 5 formal points. Okay, the code again is in the chat. IP for Israel-Palestine. Thesis is the code for the starter today. Copy and paste what you wrote on page 74, what should have written on page 74, or write your thesis statement. Answering the question, what were the causes between Israel and Palestine? Okay, I'll give you 30 more seconds. All right, summary today. So we're going to start a new like mini section of our North African and Middle East section called the Arab Spring. So the objective today is to create a flag. And this is going to be our objective throughout the next 6 or 7 days, is to create a flag representing the identity and mission of the Arab Spring. North Carolina State Course Studies, we're going to analyze the effects of social, economic, military, and political conflict among nations, regions, and groups. Unit's going to be the same, Africa and the Middle East, and discontent creates changes, our statement of inquiry. So take a look here, synchronous work. We did the starter, okay, should be done with the starter. Again, that is formal, that is 5 points. And I'm going to introduce 75, the Arab Spring flag design. You're not actually going to do anything on page 75. 76 is where we're going to begin 76. And then we'll do the ticket out the door. And then your asynchronous work is to complete page 76. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at page 75. And everybody go to page 75 also in your digital notebook. Okay, I distributed to all of my students this morning before school started. So everybody should have page 75. Everybody should have page 75. So if you take a look, this is what you are doing, okay? And I'm going to give you the background of the Arab Spring in just a little bit. And we're going to spend the first 4 days focusing on details of the Arab Spring, so you know all about it. So then you'll be able to take a couple days to then develop and create a meaningful flag that represents the identity and mission of this movement called the Arab Spring. So here's, if you just read through page 75 with me here, right? Students must create a flag representing the identity and mission of the Arab Spring. The flag must meet or exceed the following expectations: 3 or more colors, 1 or more symbols, and it must have unique shapes: triangles, rectangles, squares, stripes, stars, are just some examples of unique shapes. All details of the flag must come with a description of what they represent. So the due date, I'm trying to think of when this is, I'm having this due, is next Friday. Okay, I believe. Don't hold me to that. I think that's right. And you are creating a flag and then kind of like labeling or telling me why you did what you did on that flag. Why did you choose the shapes you did? Why did you do stripes instead of a cross? Why did you do stars? Why did you do, black and yellow and red instead of, red, white, and blue? What's the meaning? Why did you use the symbols that you did? Okay, that's what you're doing. And again, here's the deal. This is not going to represent a specific country. This is going to represent a movement, a mission called the Arab Spring. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So what I want you to do is take a minute here and look through this page. You look through this page because this infographic is, honestly, it's pretty amazing. All of the flags that they have here that they put in here. Okay. And this has different examples. And what I like about these designs is they also talk about, like, if you look at the different, arrows or points or dots, it tells you like what they symbolize and what they represent. So it's all pretty cool just to see the symbolism of the cross, the colors, the shapes, the size, the symbols, all of that, and how it relates to these different countries, different nations. Okay, so go ahead right now. Now you're not, all I want you to do is just look through the flags and just look at them and read what the different symbols, colors mean in the flags. Go ahead and do that now. So again, hopefully you had a chance to look at these flags and see the symbolism of the flags, the colors, how everything from a flag is intentional. Everything. Nobody just said, hey, I like the color blue, so I'm going to do a blue flag. It means something. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, everybody go to page 76 in both Canvas and the digital notebook, please. Canvas and the digital notebook. Now, here's what I did. I'm going to maybe I'm going to make this half the screen. Make the digital notebook half the screen as well. All right, so the first thing I did, okay, as we talk about the Arab Spring, and you're not going to create any flags yet. You gotta get this information first, and then use that information to help you with the creation of a flag. And I'll get as far as I can today. Okay, so page 76, all about this country called Tunisia. Okay, Tunisia is in the northern part, right along the Mediterranean Sea in North Africa. And what I did, instead of you putting in notes, I filled them in already for you. So if you look at page 76, you're going to see those guide notes here at the top. Okay, so I'm going to go through this slideshow and just kind of talk about it and talk about this movement that started the Arab Spring. And then as I show you this slideshow here, okay, let me see. I'm going to make it larger so y'all can see, and then just review, maybe highlight some of the notes on page 76 as we move forward here. So background information. So December 17th, 2010, right? So we're looking at, 10 years ago, because it was in December, okay? Leaders, Ben Ali, so Zine Al Abidine Ben Ali, was an authoritarian leader since 1987. That means he had ultimate power, like a dictator. And then there was a revolutionary that, ended up becoming a revolutionary. Mohamed Bouazizi was his name. Okay, those are just some of the general details of background information of the Arab Spring in Tunisia. So here's what happened. In Tunisia, okay, there was high unemployment, people weren't working, there's extreme poverty, and there was political oppression. If you disagreed with the leaders of Tunisia, you basically couldn't, right? It was frowned upon. You could be punished. You have consequences. This idea of free speech, opposing the political party that's in control, was not something that existed. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do it freely. You couldn't do it fairly. And okay, so as a result, the people in Tunisia were ticked off. The people in Tunisia were ticked off. And here you have a picture of the revolutionary Mohamed Bouazizi in a hospital bed, okay, being visited by the president or dictator Ben Ali. Okay, what do you think happened to him? What do you think happened to Mohamed Bouazizi looking at this picture? Anybody in the chat? What do you think? Yeah, but how do you think he got to this position? Okay, yeah, maybe he's in a coma. Maybe an argument, maybe a fight. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. So here's what happened. Mohamed Bouazizi, December 17th, 2010, he was trying to sell fruit and vegetables, okay, to make money because, again, high unemployment, incredible poverty in Tunisia. He was confronted by a policewoman because he did not have a permit. So as a result, I think she took the scale from him, confronted him, and told him that he couldn't do it, okay? So he's like, forget it. I've had enough. Okay, this is ridiculous. The government is terrible, high unemployment. I'm just trying to make a living, provide for my family. I'm selling fruits and vegetables. I'm not doing something terribly illegal. Sure, I don't have a permit, but I'm just trying to make ends meet. So he was confronted by the policewoman as a result, and he couldn't sell those fruits and vegetables and make a living. So he actually then went and set himself on fire in protest. As a result, he died on January 4th, 2011. But this started this thing called the Arab Spring, this political uprising. Started in Tunisia, and it then started to spread throughout other major countries throughout North Africa and the Middle East. Okay? So as a result, everybody took to the streets. Okay, not everybody. The majority of the people of Tunisia took to the streets in protest of the dictator Ben Ali. and he ended up resigning days later, right? He died, Bouazizi died January 4th. 10 days later, all of the political pressure and everybody wanting Ben Ali out, he resigned because he knew there was no way he could keep power, he could keep control. So as a result, they ended up with a new constitution in Tunisia with freedom of religion, greater gender equality. They had democratic elections in 2018 where the people went and voted for their leaders instead of leaders taking power and control. But there continued to be economic instability. And I think there's still stuff going on in Tunisia today that is also not ideal when it comes to the government and the people and employment, all of those things. Okay, go ahead. I want everybody, go ahead, ask a question in the chat. Any questions in the chat? So I know we're getting right into this. Okay. But again, him taking that action led to this revolt to help create a democratic society in Tunisia. Okay. All right. So you got these notes here. I filled them in for you so you have them to access them. Okay. Now I want everybody, look at these Edpuzzle notes right here. In this section, okay, I want you to, you know what, here's what I'm gonna do down. That Edpuzzle part is gonna be your asynchronous work. Okay, because I want to do this tacos thing together. Let's go down to the tacos section. Now, y'all remember doing tacos with the Nazi propaganda? Okay, let's look at this. Let's see. All right, so look at this political cartoon. Okay, let's figure out what is going on here. What is the time represented in this political cartoon? Go ahead and put in the chat. Let's do this real quick together. Okay, what's the time represented in the political cartoon? What do you see? 80s? Yeah. Well, I mean, we can be specific here. Look at it. What two dates are on there? Really, this is like two political cartoons. Yeah, there you go. 1987 and 2011. Right? There you go. Two different time periods. What happened in 1987 that was significant? Y'all remember? From the slideshow? From the slides? What happened in 1987? Now, there were protests in 87, but that's when Ben Ali became the leader originally. That's when he started, 87, in 1987. Okay? All right, so let's take a look here. Actions. What actions do you see? I see, what do you see in the top? What's he doing? What does it look like he's doing? Yeah, I think he's making a speech, right? And the top. What about in the bottom? What's going on in the bottom? Yeah, speech on the top, protest on the bottom. Good. Okay. What captions do you see? What words do you specifically see? Here's where we got to write it out, y'all. It's real straightforward, right? Year 1987. Ben Ali. Yeah, good. Yeah, I see some of y'all in the chat, but I'm doing the top one first. Okay. What he said, right? I promise to usher in a new era of democracy and freedom. And then in the bottom, right? Year 2011. Democracy, freedom. Right? Those are the things we see. I'm going to split this instead of using the, I'm going to do a dash instead. So it's kind of like separating the top and the bottom. 1987, 2011 at the bottom, speech at the top, protest at the bottom. Okay? All right? What objects do y'all see? What objects do you see? Now, again, this is like all of the things, right? If I'm looking at the top, I see a flag, right? What do you see at the bottom? Other things I see actually in the top. I see a tie, like he's wearing a tie, like a suit and tie. What do I see at the bottom for objects? Signs, yeah. Sign. Flag. Okay. All right, here's the best part. Combine it all together. What do you think this represents? What do you think this means? How would you summarize this political cartoon? What do you think this artist is trying to tell us? Yeah, before and after. What's before, right? For me, right? If I'm doing this, Ben Ali said he would create a democratic and free society, but that did not happen. And the people are demanding change in 2011. But how many, right? I'll change the view a little bit here. Does that make sense, y'all? The tacos? Does that make sense? All right. Okay. So your asynchronous work is to do the Edpuzzle video at the bottom of this page. The Edpuzzle video, you have to watch it within Canvas and answer the questions in the during the video to get credit. Okay, you have to do that. You cannot just watch the video separately in YouTube and not answer the questions. You have to answer the questions as the video plays. That is your asynchronous. That's what you got to make sure you complete as your asynchronous work. Because we looked at the guided notes, we did tacos, so your focus is, and you take notes as the video plays. Okay, that's the expectation. That's what you need to do. There are optional research here available to you. I gave some other resources here. Some background information, protest details if you want to look more into this. And you can just look at that and add some information there if you'd like. So here's what's going to happen, just giving you prepping you. Okay, we're going to talk about Libya tomorrow. We're going to talk about Egypt on Friday, and we'll talk about Syria on Monday. Okay? All of those together are these pro-democracy movements in these countries that have dictatorships, basically seeking, they're wanting democracy. So you're going to create a flag that ties all of those countries together: Egypt, Syria, Libya, Tunisia, and represents the Arab Spring. So you just understand that as we move forward. Okay. All right, everybody, go to the ticket out the door, please. Ticket out the door. Go ahead, ask any questions in the chat. I know I've kind of covered a lot here. Again, take it out the door, right? Objective. What unit are we studying? Statement of inquiry, and then your asynchronous work.